Thank you for joining us today for the virtual Sunday service with the Center for Creative Living. CCL, a charter of the Universal Church of the Master, has served and supported the spiritual needs of its community here in the Bay Area for over 20 years.
Good morning, good morning. If you could all be seated. Thank you. Please take your seat. And this is a wonderfully chatty group this morning. I'm so glad to see it and hear it. It's marvelous. Thank you so much for bringing goodies, Lauren. We really do appreciate it. Lauren has been missing because she has been working, and Lauren is one of the youngest members of the CCL board, and so we're always glad to have her here when she can make it. So thank you. And yeah. I don't know about any of the rest of you, but I've had one of these weeks where people are going through death and dying, and I don't know. It's like when people get sick, and all of a sudden somebody else passes. It's almost like they want to follow them. I have found this works that people in my life kind of, when they leave the planet, they do it in clumps. And I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that, but know that every time somebody leaves the planet, they still need your energy. This is not a time for you to just say, oh, well, they're gone. That's not the way it happens. One of the things about attending a spiritualist church is realizing you are spirit from before you were born, during the time you were on the planet, until you leave, and you're going back into spirit. Okay? So I want you to realize that as these people that are making their transition, don't get caught up in, oh, I wish I had. So many times you feel like, I wish I had done this. Wish I had met them at that party. I wish, just get out of that ego that you have and say, I bless this person on their journey. And just visualize them, because they'll give you signs of where they are in the journey. And sometimes somebody will come in and say, I haven't heard from my mother or my father. They made their transition. How come they're not here? And what my guide Ma says is that when you are making your transition, you talk to all those people that you knew vaguely. You met them in the Department of Motor Vehicles, or you met them at work or something. But you really are not friends, but you're acquaintances. And those are the ones you just kind of touch, because you know it's the last time you'll probably touch them. And then it gets more and more until you're saying goodbye to the very close people. So if someone says, oh, I understand so-and-so died, they came to me, and it's your brother, and you're thinking, why did he go to them? What about me? And then the next couple of days or weeks, all of a sudden you have this wonderful communication and conversation with the brother who had passed. So, and we have the person that is the best person to talk about with death and dying, our wonderful Reverend Janet Childs. She does so much work in this area. And I'm afraid I'm guilty of, when somebody calls me and I don't know any answers to what they're saying, I'll say, would you call Janet Childs? Please. Because everybody wants some kind of idea. It might not be a complete solution, but you want to know some idea of what they should be doing. And that really helps. And our wonderful Brianna does good work there too, of helping people make that transition. So we have a minister, Brianna, who does that. And yeah, so we just want to know that we have more people than just Jan, who specializes in helping people go through the transition of grief. Okay, I hope you all have a program. You don't realize how early Corky has to get up on a Sunday morning to make the programs, and I'm so excited that she does that. It's one of those wonderful, wonderful things. Well, how did you enjoy last week? Wasn't that fun? Yeah, and Scout was so. We ended up with about 35 people here and 18 on Zoom. And Mr. Bartlett, Reverend Bartlett now, was so excited that you'd all turned out. That was just, and I'll tell you what he did. He came up to me, and you're going to be scouts, so just stay right here. And he looked at me and he said, Dottie, I thought I was just going to get a certificate. And you made it an occasion and a celebration. And when you look at a man and he's got tears in his eyes, I don't know about the rest of you, but that to me was the most amazing thing. Because we were just getting together to say, hey, we're glad you did it. But for him, it was a change in his life. And sometimes we don't realize how we change people's lives. So start thinking about that. You don't want to just say, hey, glad you got that. Make it an occasion. Okay. My mom said I made an occasion of everything. She said, from the time you use the potty for the first time and we're so excited, you've been making an occasion out of anything. But it's true. You just think of to yourself, let's make this memorable. So think of doing something memorable for people. And it's just as easy as that, is saying congratulations or sending somebody a card. One of the greatest things we had happen in our family yesterday, my son Bob got engaged to Julia. It's one of these things that is so wonderful because they're both just right at the same age. They've gone through a lot in life, and now we had a picture of him down on one knee at the beach at Oceanside, and
It's interesting, there were 13 pictures of him on his knees. Did he ever get up?
yeah, I think so. His daughter, Vanessa, my granddaughter, was taking the pictures. Yeah.
Hey, I would still be down there.
But this is one of those sweet stories. He had gone back to St. Louis and met Julia's mom and dad, and he said, Mom, I don't know what came over me, but I just said to Mr. Pfister, he said, could I have your daughter's hand in marriage? And the man looked at him and said, Bob, you're the first man that has asked me that, and of course you may. And we didn't even know he was sick, and he passed away 6 months later. And so for her to have her father's blessing to marry this man is just this little sweet little thing that happens. Okay, so yeah. Well, anybody have anything they'd like to announce? Any announcements? Something coming up? Something exciting happening in your life?
I'm speaking next week.
Yay, that's exciting. Reverend Corey is speaking next week. Do you have anything that I've got something. Our Eileen here, we call her West Coast Eileen,
Yes.
is going to be doing Qigong, and she'll be here at 10:30, a little bit before 10:30. Please get here right before 10:30, because she's going to give you Qigong exercises and talk about Qigong and what it can do for you, your body, and mentally and emotionally.
Good.
And
Yeah.
It is wonderful.
Yeah.
She is a master.
And
So please, come. It's incredible. It synthesizes all kinds of different things for you to bring your body, mind, heart, soul, spirit.
Right.
Connection to the earth, connection to the spirit.
Isn't that wonderful?
Maybe we'll learn to do it every morning.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
That's
we
what
might learn to do that.
Before service
Yeah.
on Sunday, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's in person only.
It's not on Zoom. It's in person only. So if you want to awaken your mind, body, and spirit, come here. Yeah, it's not that much earlier, but it's going to be starting your day beautifully. So I'm so glad. Thank you again, Eileen, for doing that for us. Any other announcements? Okay, well, what? Any birthdays? No, no birthdays this
Amazing.
week.
Wow.
People in this group are just not getting older. That's
I
what
guess
it
that
is,
must
John.
be it. Yeah, that's gotta be it.
And I don't know how many of you know our speaker for today, Reverend John. We're so glad to have him here. And
Thank you.
what I'd like to do is to start out with a prayer. Anybody particularly want to do a prayer this morning? Anyone? Okay, Joan. Yeah, we haven't had a Joan prayer for a while.
As we gather this morning in spirit, we give thanks for this wonderful group, for this wonderful environment, for this beautiful sunshiny day. There is so much in life to be thankful for our prosperity, for our health, for our friends. And I am especially grateful for my friends who are here with me physically and who are also on the other side. I invite you to be aware of those, your friends on both sides also, as we go forward in this wonderful, special, spiritually beginning day. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you so very much. Thank you. What a wonderful way to start the day. Yeah, just with a nice deep breath. Well, are we doing a meditation, Reverend Janet? Okay.
You're doing it.
I'm doing it. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Sound like you ought to put your feet flat on the floor and just take a nice deep breath and realize that each one of you is spending this time on this planet to find who you truly are. And what finding out who you truly are consists of is getting in touch with yourself spiritually. So right now, I'd like you to feel that. Bring up the energy from the planet Earth and bring the energy in from spirit. And feel those two energies meet right at your heart chakra. And as you feel that, it's an awareness. It's an awareness of you as a spiritual being connecting to the earth and your earthly being. Your mind is what keeps you going and moving forward and telling you who you are and what you should be. Your body consists of all these wonderful organs of keeping the body alive and moving forward. And your spirit is the energy you bring from Creator. So see yourself right now vibrating with the energy of your mind, bringing in the energy from planet Earth, from your feet up. Just bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. And when you come up through all your chakras, bringing up the energy from Mother Earth, feel it come all the way to the top of your head. And let that energy just shoot out of the top of your head into spirit. Let's do that again. Let's feel the energy. For some of you, you can focus to the center of the earth and see a pool, a tree, whatever you visualize being at the center of the earth. And see that and bring up the energy from the center. Bring it up through your body. And as you bring all that energy and earth energy up, bring it up through your heart and add your body's energy to it. So now your earth, your physical body, and bring all that energy up through the very top of your head to your crown chakra. Bring up that energy and just shoot it straight up to spirit. And as you do that, feel that energy connect with spirit, with the Creator. Feel the love, the joy, the happiness of being alive, awake, aware, and connected. Then bring the energy back down from spirit, back through your body. And as you do that, that energy cleanses your body. It feels like a warm shower of spiritual energy as it completely covers your body. Take a nice deep breath. And as you sit here, totally relaxed, just listen to the sound of our wonderful Reverend Janet Childs. You may open your eyes or keep your eyes closed, whatever is comfortable for you.
Oh, we are standing on the edge. Oh, we are spreading our wings to fly. Oh, and all that we have held in the sacred container of our lives, all that we have been is realized, and we are home. Oh, we are home. Feel the blood run through your body. It's the river of the earth. Feel the light fall upon you, and in every cell it is rebirth. Feel the gentle wings of spirit as they dance around your life, and you are held in the sacred moment. You are alive, and your heart dances in the moments where you open up your mind, and your body sings in this dream that we are living when humankind, and we know that we are held in this moment pure and clear, and every moment that we dream it, and it's here, it's here. Oh, our heart is home, our heart is home. It is here, it is here. Oh, our heart is strong, our heart is strong. We are here, and our life is what we dreamed it that we are radiating the love that we feel inside our spirit, and it shines, shines, and we know that we are strong, and we know that we are free, and we know we can be all that we are meant to be, and we open our wings and we fly, and we stand on the edge of infinity, and we bring home the mystery. We know we are one, we are shining, we are always connected to all that we know, and we bring it home and hold it close, and the mystery is reborn. Oh, the mystery is reborn.
Just take a nice deep breath and just let it out. Thank you so very much, Janet. That was wonderful. For those of you who aren't aware, we got a huge delivery of books in the back. A lot of them are metaphysical books, some are fiction. They're free to the taking. If you want to make a donation, we'd appreciate it. But I want to thank Nancy Blanchard, who is letting go today. She's been in the hospital and now has been released into her home. And this was one of the things she wanted done before her passing. So we're blessing Nancy very much and thanking her for the books that she gave us. Our speaker today, this beautiful gentleman right here, is the wonderful John Simmons, the Reverend John Simmons. He has been a minister and a seeker and a spiritualist, but mainly member of UCM, Universal Church of the Master, our founders here, for over 50 years. Yeah. Isn't that great? Yeah. And
Long before I was born, I joined the group.
in fact, his healer certificate was signed by Reverend Byron Fitzgerald, who is one of the founders of the faith. I mean, he's just been doing this for a long time, and he has real early memories of what it was like to be a spiritualist person and to connect to spirit. And even his mom, her astrological chart showed that he was going to be this beautiful, wonderful minister and spiritual being. He is, the thing I like about him is what he's going to be talking about today. He very openly talks about flying saucers, people from other dimensions, and how they've educated him and helped him. This is so neat to have somebody. Most people are kind of closeted. Have you noticed? Have you ever seen a flying saucer? Well, yeah, I did when I was 10. Is anybody listening? It's like, oh, they're going to lock us up and throw away the key. No, he's going to be talking about that. But I think when you talk about our brothers of spirit from another plane, sisters too, that it's very interesting, the awareness we have of ourselves when we find out we're not alone. Please welcome this wonderful person, and you can use the podium or you can stay seated, whichever you prefer.
Either one. I'm happy. You can probably hear me with or without the mic, right?
But the Zoomers can't.
Oh, but
You're going out over Zoom.
George, is that about right? Give or take?
That's Ed.
If I burst into song and your system fails, let me know. Well, that was a wonderful introduction, and I actually think much of it was true. It's wonderful to be here, wonderful to see you, and wonderful to see the light and the energy that's here. Each of you, it brings a beautiful, beautiful energy and a beautiful light. And to me, it's like watching a rainbow when I see you, because the colors are here and they're so vibrant. And then I open my eyes and I go, wait a minute. But that's real. Yeah, I joined UCM back in '57 with Pearl Wilkinson, 1957, not 1857. Although I've had people argue with me over that. And I've worked in the church and in the spirit for a long, long time. I'm also a registered nurse, so I apply those skills, the healing skills, as a nurse. I almost didn't get through the nursing program because the director of nursing came to me. Number one, she didn't want any men in nursing. She said, I'll never let you get through. You will not make it, guaranteed. I will force you out somehow, which of course that red flag is all I need to stay, you know. But she said, one of the biggest problems with you is your intuitive skills get in the way of your nursing. And I said, do they weaken it or strengthen it? She said, that's not the issue. We can't have intuitive nurses, she said. It's just not right, not good. Anyway, she left the program after 2 years, and I went on and graduated, so it wasn't a big deal. But I think the point she was making was that a lot of people are fearful of their intuition, and I know you're not, and you shouldn't be, because you can teach people, and they can learn to use it as well. And that's one of the great skills that being a part of UCM has taught me, that I can count on my intuition. Just this morning, I was driving over to the office to talk, and they kept flashing, Billy did Frank, Billy did Frank, Billy did Frank. And I said, I have to drive, I can't look at that, you know. So then I called, and I said, where are we? She said, Billy did Frank. I said, yeah, okay. I got it. You know, it's kind of hard, but sometimes functions well, not so well. So having worked in nursing and in the ministry for over 50 years, I've had a lot of very rewarding and very enlightening experiences. I won't go through all of those. I could bore you all day long with stories about that. But my sister's in convalescent care right now, getting some treatment. And she called me yesterday, and she said she called me a week or so ago and said, I have a new roommate, and she's pretty healthy. And then a few days later, she called me. My sister, we talk every day, and she said, my roommate's hallucinating all the time. I said, really, what's she hallucinating? She said, well, she sees all these people coming in and talking to her and standing at the foot of her bed and surrounding her bed. And then they leave, and then she tells me about them. I said, well, that probably isn't hallucination. It's probably spirit friends. Is she likely to pass away? Because quite often, just before we pass away, you know, a lot of our relatives and friends show up. Maybe they all show up. I don't know. A lot of them do. I've been with people who have passed away. I've been with them at the time of passing away as a nurse, 11 people. In every case, they go, if they're conscious at all, they go, you know, they're seeing it. So I said, well, is she like nearing death or something? And my sister said, I don't think so. She seems pretty healthy. Well, she did die 3 days. She was there and she died. So she was seeing all her friends and relatives showing up, you know, hey, we're here. And she took off with them. So kind of surprised my sister and myself, but that's real. That's how life works. It's a constant flow of energy, and it's not scary. It's not overwhelming. It's not, you know, it's not a bump. It's just a flow, and it works beautifully. So we're going to enjoy every minute we have here, but we also know we're going to enjoy a lot of other minutes elsewhere as well. When I was first studying under Pearl Wilkinson, I didn't know that she was going to be teaching, and we were going to her church. She had a church here in San Jose, and my parents were quite open to knowledge. We sometimes would go to Lilydale. I don't know if you know Lilydale, right? Okay, we would sometimes go there, and I remember my father and my mother and myself and my sister when she came along, and my older brother. And one time I was at Lilydale, and they had a speaker from England come, and he said, you know, we're mostly space, our bodies, our buildings, air. It's space. There's a little bit of molecule here and there, but mostly space. I thought, well, that's kind of a silly statement, you know. I was pretty young. I was like 8 years old or something. And he said, for instance, let me just show you what I mean. And he takes a rose, and there was a wall right here, kind of like that vertical thing there. And he takes the rose and he pushes it through and pulls it out the other side. No, you can't do that. Let me get a handkerchief. Throw me a napkin if you would, because I sometimes drain when I talk. Thank you. So he took this rose. Thank you very much. He took this rose and he pasted it, pushed it through, or led it through the wall. I was sitting about where you are right there, and the wall was right here, and I watched him do it. So after the session was over, I went up and I said to him, you didn't actually do that. He said, yeah, I did. I wanted to make a point that we're mostly space, all of us, everything. So I said, well, I'd like you to do it again while I stand right here beside you and watch you do it. He said, I never do the same thing twice. I said, that won't be the same thing. It'll be a new experience. He said, no. My father said, no, do it. The guy said, okay. So he did it a second time while I watched it. The rose went into the wall, peeked out the other side. He took hold of it and pulled it through while I'm watching him. And I couldn't see any hole or any difference on the wall, but I could see that that came out of the wall. Those things are impossible for any science to explain, as far as I know. But they actually do happen, and it reminds me of the fact that we're mostly space. We're mostly energy. We're energy beings before we come to this planet, and we're energy beings after we leave this planet. And this little bit of material that we put on ourselves is really very little, believe it or not. It's a very light mantle that we wear. So some of those understandings helped me a great deal in working in medicine, because sometimes I could work with somebody's spirit and they could get healed, and nobody could explain it. And as the director of nursing said, you're using your intuition. That's wrong. I agreed with her on everything except the wrong part. So a number of years later, I have a prostate problem. So I go down and get to all the examinations and all the tests and all that fun stuff that you have to go through as a man, which luckily you don't have to go through as a woman. You get to do a lot of other things, but you don't get to do that one. As my 11-year-old grandniece said to me, is that something that runs in the family? I said, yes. She said, do I have to worry about it? I said, no, you're lucky. You don't have one, so you don't have to worry. Oh, thank God. So the surgeon that we went to sat me down very officiously. My wife was sitting back here, and I was sitting up here, and he was sitting right there. And he said, you know, Mr. Simmons, I've been in medicine for many years, and I've seen a lot of conditions like yours, and I have to let you know that you will die from this. I said, so you're telling me that my condition is bad enough that most likely it'll take my life? He said, yes, that's what I have to tell you. And I said, wow. I said, that's the greatest news I've had in years. And he looks at me. I said, that means I get to leave. I don't have to go through all this. I can go over and enjoy myself on the other side. And he starts to cry. The doctor starts to cry. I'm not kidding. He's sitting there looking at me, and all of a sudden, tears are welling up. He goes, I'll talk to your wife. I know you don't understand a thing I'm saying to you. So he told her, and then we left. Of course, he didn't realize that there is such a thing as healing. You know, I mean, he is a healer, but he didn't actually realize there's such a thing as healing beyond the knife, you know, beyond surgery. And of course, I interviewed 11 doctors before I picked one. Finally picked one to do the surgery and did a great job, and I've had no problem. That's been 20 years. Nothing special. Yeah. So, you don't want me over there yet, do you? So I'll stay and do the work as long as you want me to. So one more story I'll tell you very quickly, and then I'll talk about some other things. About 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer in the liver, in the bile duct, actually. I had a very hard time finding it. I went to a number of different specialists and finally went to one in San Francisco. It was considered the top bile duct. Wouldn't it be nice to have that after your name, top bile duct doctor? Everywhere you went, they'd give you a round of applause. You're the bile duct guy, huh? Yeah. So I went and saw him. Nobody could find it. I saw him in 45 minutes. He found it. He said, yeah, you got cancer there. So he said, again, like the other doctor, most likely. I said, okay, thank you. But in both cases, I said to them, I'm a weed in God's garden. I'm pretty clear on that. I don't doubt it. I know it's a fact. Weeds are really hard to kill. So do your best, but I don't think you'll have a problem. Well, he didn't either. It was healed and took care of it, and that's been years. And each time when I wake up after surgery, the surgeon very wisely has said to me, because I remember this each time, you really are a weed in God's garden, aren't you? So at least I know my place. So all these years working with people and with the light and working with healing, it's a really, I know you do it, it's a really nice thing to be able to do. When someone calls you or you are aware, become aware of a person having a problem, medical, psychiatric, spiritual, any of those, and you sit down for a moment and you visualize that person and you visualize the light encircling them, absorbing into their body, into their spirit, into their mind, making them at one with this energy that God gives us freely. And they get better and better and better and better. Now sometimes they get worse and worse and move on, which is okay too, because that's probably what they're supposed to do. But most often I found it doesn't work that way. They do get better. I'm not telling them to be healed. I'm not asking God to do this for me. I'm just saying, don't you think it would be better if they were healed? You know, why do they have to live with that? And it happens. You all can do it. You do it all the time. You probably do it without thinking about it sometimes. You probably just do it. And that's a nice thing to be aware that you can do, because many people in this world aren't aware that focused prayer, that a awareness that God loves you so much that whatever is right for you will occur. But sometimes you block it, or events block it. And when that happens, then one of us comes along, one of you comes along and helps get rid of the block. And off they go. They're doing fine again. It's a beautiful experience to have, and I can't think of a life any better than this kind of life that we're experiencing right now. The power of prayer, the power of awareness. Pearl often taught, and I think this is kind of well said, it takes a while to think it through, so it may not strike you all at once, but I'm going to read to you one of the things that Pearl wrote out and put in a picture frame and gave it to me. She said, put that on your desk. Just put that on your desk. She was very direct. If she liked something, she really liked it. If she didn't, well, it better move. So she said, put this on your desk. So I have it on my desk, and I see it at least every day, probably several times a day. And it sounds so simple, but it is so meaningful that I thought I'd just share it with you. God is energy. Jesus is mind. When you were born, God breathed into your nostrils, breathing life, and you became a living soul. Jesus said, "Lo, I am with you always." You breathe through your nostrils, and a spirit filter clears your mind, and Jesus speaks. So breathe deeply the breath of life, and you talk with Jesus, and your life changes. Do not breathe through your mouth, and thus breathe the poison in the air that robs you of life, wrecking your body and mind. God calls, Jesus speaks, and a new day dawns. So if I just ask you to close your eyes for just a moment, and I'll ask you to take 3 very nice slow breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. When you do that, your body is energized, it's purified, and as simple as it seems to be, it's a very powerful act. Now, I know a number of you are, I shouldn't even talk anymore. The energy here is so smooth and so beautiful. But I have an ego, so I'll speak. That's where I got in trouble all the time. I know sometimes you're interested in hearing a little bit about UFOs. I'll talk a little bit about that because I know some people would like to hear a little bit about it. There are some people who, in researching the Bible and other writings, feel that it represents some times in which we have been met by people from other planets, not just from Earth alone. And Ezekiel and Zechariah both have quite a few spots in them where it looks like it could be they're referring to flying saucers, fire in the air, large globs of fire. And it's possible it may be the light that took the wise people to Israel, to Jesus' birth, may have been an artificial, planet or artificial creation to help bring them there, because it wasn't there before and it wasn't there after. So some people say that's another example of flying saucers and the people in them. Coming to Pearl's Church back in 1957 were a couple who were ordained ministers in the UCM as well, Bob and Shirley Short. Remember Bob and Shirley Short? Yeah. And they were in contact with the flying saucers every Wednesday evening. Bob Short, Shirley would have a tape recorder and tape record what was being said. And Bob would sit in his chair, and the rest of us would sit around in kind of an arc. And all at once you'd hear a click in his throat that would be very hard to replicate with just your throat. It sounded almost mechanical. And then they would say, "We're here, we'd like to talk with you." And then they would tell us things that they wanted us to hear. And sometimes they would allow time for questions and answers. So naturally, I enjoyed the questions and answers. So this, I started going to their home on Wednesdays in 1957, a few months before Sputnik. And when Sputnik went up, that next Wednesday, I think it was the 9th maybe, in 1957, they said, "Would you like to hear the Sputnik?" Because it hadn't come on the news yet. They said, "Would you like to hear the vehicle that was sent by the Soviet Union?" We said, "Yeah." And we went, beep, 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 beep. So we got to hear the beeps before the news got it. It was kind of fun. And it also helped to verify they were real. I mean, I knew they were real, but still you go, is this possible? So anyway, over the years, they told us a lot about, I'd be glad to share it, and I won't bore you with lots of information, but if you ever wanted to talk about it, I could, if you want. But a couple of things I thought were worth noticing was that the Space Brothers and Sisters see us as brothers and sisters. We're part of the family. It's kind of good to know. They're hanging around to protect us and make sure, because we're kind of ignorant. Yeah, you notice that. I don't try to let people notice, but they notice anyway. So because of that, they're kind of here to keep track of us and make sure we're okay. There are some parts of the universe that are not as friendly as these folks are, and there are some parts that think of us as monkeys and being edible. And so you don't really want to get on one of their ships. Those are the triangular ships. If it's a triangular ship, it's probably not a safe ship to hop onto, because they might decide to invite you for dinner. Right. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you've been there. We do taste like pork, by the way, in case you're wondering. I can hardly tell the difference. But anyway, I didn't think you were wondering about that. The rounder ships, the more looks like a saucer and a cup kind of thing, they're our buddies. They're protective, and they try to make sure that nobody untoward gets in and causes any trouble. They recognize us as being very much a part of their family. And unfortunately, we're the dull-witted part of the family, so they have to work with us and they try to help us, And they are introducing small amounts of technology all the time into our culture, into our schools, so that we can have things like computers and flying cars and all that stuff, which we don't have yet, but they're helping with that learning. But they also recognize that we aren't spiritually all that evolved either. And so they're helping to try to help with that as well, to bring us a little more awareness of our interconnection all through the universe. Nothing to be fearful of. They appreciate our small groups and our thoughts and our love that we send out. They're very intuitive. Many of them, not all of them, but most of them are pretty intuitive. The ones that I've met I've seen about 6 different colors of skin. Black and white and yellow, and an orangish kind of look, a gray kind of look, and a bluish kind of look.
No green?
Huh?
No green? Little green men?
I haven't seen any green men. Little green men? Oh, those little green men. There's one. Yeah, leprechauns. No, they're from Ireland, right? I almost forgot about them. Yeah, that's right, little green men. Now, I guess they leave that to us. And there's some that I've seen that are very tall and very thin, and look very Nordic, actually. So they're all different sizes and types and bodies, but I think there are about 6 different ones, and they're more or less generally represented here on Earth by Earthlings. We have we don't have so much the bluish color as much, but the others.
Well, maybe in India.
What's that?
They take that, I don't remember what it's called, but causes it to be blue, like the god, your gods are
Okay,
blue.
so we do have some of that.
They can recreate that blue in their skin using a
Okay,
cobalt or something.
okay, all right, so maybe we have all.
Colloidal.
So, okay, then we probably do have pretty much all the same shades as,
Orange is not a good color for us, though.
yeah, right.
I guess carrot. Eat too much carrots. My cousin was.
Was that?
Reptilians.
I have not met or seen any reptilians. There might be some. There were some, one of the people that I met, one of the young guys that I met, or gal I guess it was, did have more squinty eyes, but not really reptilian. I mean, sort of. You could say they're maybe not typical of their own, but they weren't Japanese or Chinese. They were more elongated, like this. So maybe that would be a reptilian, maybe, but I didn't actually meet any reptilians. Question?
Oh, I have. Usually they're lurking in the dark.
They're what?
Usually they're lurking in the shadows.
Okay.
They're dark, like alligators or
Okay.
that kind of standing
Okay.
up. They're kind of up against the, hiding.
Yeah.
But I have a question. Is there-
Yes, question.
What do you mean by meet them? Like you walk in their room and they're there and they're physical?
Okay. What do you mean about meet 'em?
Or it's trancy
Where
or?
do we meet 'em? Okay. I did ask them around the early 50. Let's see, 50. Must be about 58 or 59. I did say to them, I was learning to fly planes. I was learning to fly airplanes, and I said, would it be possible for me to fly one of your ships? Well, kids are going to ask that question. I was immature and still am. So I said, why not? Could I do that? They said, actually, yes. You could do that if you like. We're going to have to bring you up.
But how do you ask them? Like, are they sitting in front of you or they're like?
Okay, how do I ask them? Bob Short. Yeah, I'll come back over here so you can hear it echo. Bob Short would sit up at the front, and then we'd sit over here, and then he would speak, and they would actually speak through him, and you could hear his voice as he would start to speak. You can't do what his voice did. It would go click, 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 click. You'd hear all these clicking sounds, and then it would say, greetings, we are, and then they would introduce themselves and talk about stuff. And it came in through what's called a tensor beam. The federal government is secretly trying to create a tensor beam right now. There's a lot of research, mathematical and physical research going into creating a tensor beam, which is absolutely top secret. No one's allowed to know this. Of course, we all do, but yeah.
Tell me about the tensor beam, because I might have saw that.
Okay, you probably did.
And I had a girl with me, and we were at daytime in an Eichler type house.
Yes.
It was glass, it was frosted.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden, this beam of light came through the room, and it was tubular.
Okay.
But it was a bright day. And we looked at each other, and we go, what could that be? Could it be a motorcycle outside or something? So we ran outside, and there was no motorcycle. And it was a tube, you could see it, of light.
Did it stop on anyone? Did it stop on anybody?
No, it went straight through from one side to the other. We always thought it was a UFO, but I don't even believe in them. But
I don't believe in them either.
yeah, but it was. Could it be it?
I know they're real, but
But we went outside and we go. It couldn't be a motorcycle because it's daytime.
I don't know, honestly. Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
We're tied to our, I don't know what that was. Yeah, it may have been. I could not, when Bob would speak, I couldn't see the beam. I couldn't, with my eyes, see the beam. So it was a frequency that was above my visual. But I found out it was true. See, I'm the constant disbeliever. You have to prove it to me in order for me to really think it's true. And so one day, Bob always sat like here. We always sat like out there, right? And there was a window right there to his left, and a chair and rug and all that stuff. And he would sit here, and we were around this. And so I said one day to them, when they asked if we had any questions or asked if we wanted to know anything, I said, would it be okay for me to sit over by that window? They said, that is where the tensor beam comes in from the ship to Bob, through that wall and window there. So you could sit there if you want, but you'll be uncomfortable. Well, of course I'll try it, right? Not going to kill me, I guess, so let me give it a try. So I said, okay, good. Next time we meet, I'm going to sit there. All the rest of us are in a curve, and Bob's up here, and this window's here. So there's a chair right there, so kind of a good heavy chair. So I sit down. As soon as the click hits Bob's mouth, I'm facing the floor in the air. I'm absolutely this way with my nose about 6 inches from the rug, and I can't move. I cannot move. I'm locked in that form. Me and everything, the chair, everything is over. I'm floating above the ground, unable to move a muscle, perfectly conscious, breathing dust out of the rug. Yeah. During the whole time Bob is talking, I'm hanging like that. I'm not uncomfortable. I'm not stretching. I'm just hung there. When he stops talking, pow, I go face forward onto the floor. Yes.
I forgot that the next day, my friend and I were both thinking, is this going to be in the news? And that evening, it was on 5 channels that there's been UFO sightings all day long. So we're waiting for the nighttime news, and it never spoke of it again.
Okay.
But it was all around here.
Okay. Do you have any idea why they might have sent that energy to you?
To me and her both.
Uh-huh.
Well, things didn't turn out so well. I mean, a lot of stuff happened, but it wasn't. Do you think it could be a healing thing? I think a lot of bad stuff happened.
Do you think it could have been a protection thing because stuff was coming and they wanted to protect you?
That would be nice if it was like that, because I always like to think that way. And some really bad things happened after that, but she and I didn't handle it quite well between us. So
Okay.
I can't. Some bad stuff happened later.
Okay. I'm just wondering if they were trying to send protection. Yes.
You have 2 minutes.
What's that?
You have 2 minutes.
Only 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are in a hurry. Well, anyway, that's what I would suspect is they were probably sending some healing. Yes.
Okay, I was just wondering about that, because she's a therapist, she's not Oogie Boogie like me, and we always said, we saw that UFO together.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they're absolutely, totally real. Well, I have many other stories, but I won't bore you with those or excite you or whatever. Okay, well, I'll come and talk about them again sometime. But anyway, it is good to realize that they're real, that they love us, that we are part of the family, kind of not the smartest part of the family, but we're still part of the family, and that they're doing what they can to protect us. The one thing I do want to leave you with, and they made this very clear more than once, they will not allow weapons from the earth into space at all. Anything that tries to go into space will fail. And that we've tried to send weapons a couple times into space. Both times those ships that I know of too have failed in transit and fallen back to Earth. So Russia can't do it, China can't do it, we can't do it. We can fight on the Earth's surface all we want and have all kinds of crazy armies and battles and little short rockets and all that, but we can't go into space and drop something on somebody. They're not going to allow it. So relax if you're worried about that. Yeah, I like that too. Well, I will stop talking now and settle down, and sometime I'll come and talk some more, but I want to come and hear some of you guys talk too. So I'll settle down and keep quiet, and I'll thank God for this opportunity to enjoy this day with you. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Bob. I want to thank you all so much for joining us, and sorry we had to just kind of cut you a little bit short, but we're going to leave them wanting more.
Okay,
How's
that's
that
the way to
sound?
do it.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I want to thank you all very much for being here. We need somebody to pass the basket. Anybody want to jump up? Mary, there you go. Mary Berry is going to be passing the basket. Thank you so very much for doing that. I want to thank all of you for making contributions. We have been helping out people. I don't know if, should we put this in the CCL Insights when we're doing charitable donations so you know where your money's going? Do you think that would be something you would enjoy? Yeah, no, we wouldn't put their names down. We wouldn't put who it's going to. Just where money is going. Do you think that would be something you would like to read? Yes. Or not? It doesn't make any difference, you know?
We can read it, but we also, I'm just going to speak for myself personally. May I get up here? There you go. I'm wanting to support this incredible spiritual community. So I want some of the resources that I give every Sunday to go to making this happen.
Okay.
Because it is an amazing experience to be able to get together and to be able to come together with this wonderful energy and wonderful space that you and Corky and the Billy DeFrank Center make possible. So I want my funds.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And now, Lauren, you want to do a closing prayer since we don't see you very often? We got to grab her while she's here. Yes, and thank you so much for saying that. When we pass the basket, we have a new blessing that our wonderful Joan Stutz, and it's on the back of your program, and it says, I give thanks for my spiritual community. I live in a world of freedom and abundance. I am happy to support my spiritual community. Thank you, Universal Spirit, for your everlasting love and support. And so it is.
And so it is.
Yes, thank you so much.
To bring it down to my level.
You have an announcement? Okay.
I am so sorry, I forgot to mention, be sure to pay attention to Speaker Series. Okay, our Speaker Series is coming up the second, I'm sorry.
You have to mic it.
The second Tuesday, it is via Zoom, our Speaker Series through UCM, Universal Church of the Master. And we have had Reverend John Simmons on our wonderful Tuesday night spiritual series. They're always on the second Tuesday of the month. We are having Reverend Dr. Eileen Augustine speak about the power of transmuting anger.
Wonderful.
So it's a wonderful topic. And we have Joan coming up in March, and she is going to be doing astrology. So
Good. Okay. And we might want to put a prayer for those of you who are interested that the 49ers do pretty well today. How's that?
Go Niners!
Prayers for everything. Oh, how loud.
And I pray for the opponents too, because they're going to need our prayers.
Right. That's very nicely said, Eric. Thank you.
Very smooth.
Loving Creator, I'm so grateful to be part of this great and eclectic spiritual community. It's so wonderful to have such a variety of faiths and practices all together in one church. May we all go out to bring the light to each person that we see. And so it is.
That was it. Thank you. Thank you, Minister Cooper. Glad to have you here. I want to thank you so very much for being here and for this wonderful speaker. Isn't he wonderful? Yeah, so, yeah. We've had these two men back to back, Scout and then our wonderful speaker today. But,
Very purple.
yes, yeah, both very purple. Yes, that's it. So Eric, when are you going to speak?
Oh, I have something to speak about.
You do?
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Okay, well, it would be wonderful. And it will, have you talked to Corky?
What's available?
The last Sunday.
Oh, last Sunday?
Yep. You have to tell us, it can't be a surprise. You have to tell us what you're going to be talking about. And so we kind of, we don't say no very often, but every once in a while we suggest you keep your clothes on and things like that, you know, so, okay. Oh, we have, what do we have in the pink box over there, Lauren? We have donuts, we have coffee in the back. Don't forget to look at the books if you want to take them, and you please just grab them and take them. And there's a donation vase back there if you want to make a donation for them. And we want to thank you so much for having been here today. What a great group, what a marvelous speaker. And we're going to be able to get all of you out of here so you can have breakfast before you faint. Sometimes people say, Dottie, do you realize I don't have breakfast until after church? And well, if that's what's going on, have a donut, ease your tummy, and we will be seeing you next week. Because next week, do you see who's speaking? I know all about this because Ms. Corky Whitaker is going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. And this is about the time she starts getting wound up. It's only 7 days from now that she's going to be speaking. So please join us. I know it's going to be great.
I've been not doing my, I have not been doing my resolutions just like the rest of you.
Thank you all so very much. And what I would like for you to do is turn around and whoever you can reach, take somebody's hand. Come on. You can do that. Just take somebody's hand and know that you are touching the hand of God. And feel that God energy coming through and carry it with you today. Thank you so much for being here. Bye now.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Who's zooming, Ed?
Okay. Let's see. We're going to rewind this to the top. From Diane Miles, and you're going to get an email from me. I already sent it to you. She is relocated. Diane, congratulations to Reverend Scout Bartlett. P&J, Patty and Joyce, good morning all. Happy sunny Sunday. Chen Lee, good morning. Love and blessings to all. Ann Corbin, good morning all. Congratulations, Bob and Julia. And let's see. Chen Lee, thank you. Singing Angel, Reverend Janet. And from P&J, thank you so much, Dottie and Janet. The meditation and song were beautiful, connecting us to the divine and opening our heart chakra. Such a blessing. From Donna C., good morning all. Sorry I'm late, but I'm glad I didn't miss John's speech. From Diane, thank you for sharing this, Reverend John. P&J, fascinating talk. Thank you so much, Reverend John. There seems to be a sequence here. Thank you so much, Reverend John, for your inspiring stories that we live in a multiverse, not just a universe. Once again, from Chen Lee. Ann Corbin, I loved your talk. Thank you, Reverend John. Let's see. Donna Christensen, I can't wait till he comes back to continue his stories. P&J, we look forward to Reverend John speaking again. Sky to everyone. You know what she says. I love you, Mama Boone. Have an awesome day, everyone. From Diane Miles, thank you, each and everyone.
Thank you. Hey, thank you, Ed. Oh, well, thank you.
And Dottie?
Yes.
The thing, my summation on John's thing is if Jonathan Winters had been spiritual, it would sound just like him. I mean, he is just like Jonathan Winters, channeling him. Yeah.
Oh. Jonathan Winters was, before a lot of people here, but he was great.